Hi, I'm Phillips, European Tour winner and PGA coach, and today's lesson is going to be how do we make that all-important transition from top of the backswing into downswing. Okay, so let's get stuck into this all-important transition move from top of backswing into downswing. The key move has been described over the years, so really important. Right, now we're at the top of the backswing. Now I want to break this down into two swing types. One is somebody that lifts their lead heel in the backswing. The other is somebody that keeps that lead foot on the ground. So let's start off with the ground version. So I'm at the top of my backswing here now. The downswing is a combination of moving back to the target, so we're predominantly in the right foot in terms of weight shift at the top of the swing. We're predominantly in the back leg, the leg that's furthest from the target. We've got to shift it back to the forward leg to get maximum force into the shot. So not only is there a move toward the target, but there also needs to be a rotational move. So I want you to be very aware that when you're moving back to the target from the top, as soon as you start to feel that your weight shift and your mass is moving back towards your target, that you're also rotating your pelvis and trunk, okay, at the same time. So don't try and separate the two. Don't try and think I've got to shift left or shift towards the target and then turn. The downswing is about a quarter of a second or half a second. There's no way that in your mind you're going to have enough time to literally think of moving in a lateral direction and then have enough time to suddenly get out of the way. Okay, so I want you to feel that as you're shifting back to the target, you're also opening up your pelvis as much as your body allows you to open it up. Okay, so everyone's different. Dustin Johnson's able to get incredible pelvic rotation into impact. Somebody else like a Zach Johnson, for example, you'd see a lot less pelvic rotation. He just physically can't move his body in the same way as Dustin Johnson can. So it doesn't matter as long as you're aware that as you're moving back to the left side or the side that's nearest the target and you're feeling that forward leg taking your weight, that you're also feeling as much pelvic rotation as you possibly can. Now, people talk about the pelvis moving or opening up and keeping the upper body resisting against that. I think that's a dangerous feeling for most amateurs, and what I prefer to concentrate on is the feeling of the rear arm. So as we're shifting and rotating at the same time, as long as your rear arm and rear shoulder are behaving correctly, you won't need to worry about the pelvic, the upper body opening up too quickly. Okay, you can feel like both are opening up, pelvis and chest are both opening up, as long as that right arm or rear arm is doing the right thing. What is the right thing? The right thing is external rotation of the right shoulder. Okay, so at the same time that we've got this pelvic movement, we're shifting the weight, we're opening up, it's one continuous motion, it's not a load of separate things. You're simply feeling weight shift to the forward leg, at the same time you're opening up your body. Okay, so it's very much like a throwing movement. You can imagine there, if I had a ball in my hand and I'm going to throw it, you can see things start happening very naturally, and I really recommend you do that to train yourself as to what the correct transitional move is. Okay, we can all do it pretty innately actually if we don't try and think that golf is some individual movement. It's actually a very similar movement to throwing. So just pretend or even throw a ball yourself, and what you'll find yourself doing is a great transitional move for golf. So use that as a great exercise. And by the same token, you can see as I'm doing it now with a golf club in my hand, all I'm trying to focus on is external rotation. What is that? That's the anatomical term. How do we achieve that? Try to feel like you're throwing your rear elbow at the ball. Okay, not your hand, your elbow. Because if the elbow goes first, it automatically throws the shoulder into external rotation, and that does a number of things for us. One, it makes sure that you don't throw the club outside the line, the dreaded over the top move. Two, it creates maximum leverage. It will hold your wrist angles for a longer time. You'll get more lag, you'll get more wrist angle, which will give you more club head speed. Okay, and three, it's really sequencing everything properly, so it won't allow your chest to actually outrun your hips. Okay, when that elbow's in that position, it's very hard to then move the chest out and over. Okay, it actually keeps the chest in check, if you like, so you can feel like the pelvis and chest are both working in harmony. You don't need to separate that and complicate it. You don't need to feel like the chest and hips are doing two different things. As long as you're leading with that rear elbow, it's going to take care of that. Okay, so all this needs to feel like it's happening simultaneously. That's another nice factor. It's not, we don't need to think of a whole range of things happening at different times. We can set this whole thing off simultaneously. So we're wound up at the top of the swing, we're going to feel this movement towards the target with rotation at the same time. Okay, we're not separating them, it's not a move and then a turn, it's a movement, a turning movement, okay, a turning weight shift, and at the same time we're going to coordinate the feeling of driving that rear elbow towards the golf ball. So everything's happening in this coordinated movement. Okay, very important that we do it together. Okay, so we've dealt with the foot down process there. Now very quickly, if you're somebody that lifts that lead heel in the backswing, nothing's going to change at all, except actually in my view you've got a bit of an advantage, because you're going to be able to use the stamping down of that lead foot. So as you start to shift, you're going to have a sort of extra trigger point, if you like, that's going to really help you to feel the weight shift, and that's going to be the stamping down of the heel into the ground. And again, that's going to be simultaneous with the weight shift, the hip clearance, and the rear elbow movement. So this is one harmonious fluid movement. It's not a series of separate things that need to happen at split-second intervals. Okay, the feeling is going to be very much that it's all happening together. Okay, so almost identical to the foot down. The two methods of swinging really, we're either a backswinger with the foot down or a backswinger with the foot up. So in my view, the guys that lift the lead heel have a little bit of an advantage in transition, because they've got a little bit of an extra trigger. They can literally feel that heel driving into the ground, and in my view that can help you to sense the right weight shift. Everybody's different. There's a lot of great players with the foot down. Again, go watch my backswing, how to make a perfect backswing video, where I talk about the right leg action for you, and that will help you to decide whether you're a heel lifter or whether you're a heel down backswinger. So I'm going to just go ahead now. I'm a heel lifter, so you're going to see that in this shot now, and I just want you to look for how coordinated I look in the through swing. You're not going to see a particularly obvious lower body movement to start the downswing. I know that's talked about a lot, and there's a lot of coaches that are saying we need to feel the lower body is really independent of the upper body. I think that sets up sequencing problems actually, and I think for amateurs that's a difficult thing to feel, bearing in mind that downswing, as I said, is about half a second. I actually believe that when we're shifting towards the target with rotation in chest, in pelvis and chest, and that rear arm's working properly, that split second of difference between whether or not your hips are going a split second before the chest is pretty irrelevant. And you'll generally find actually, if we had the ability to measure with very high speed cameras or 3D motion analysis, that in actual fact, if you were thinking about everything happening together and that elbow was working properly and you were opening up and doing everything what felt like together, in actual fact, if we measured it, the pelvis would actually be going at that split second before, and we would have the correct kinematic sequence. Okay, so what we feel, what we do, as we know, are not always the same. And I found over the years of coaching that teaching people to try and move their hips first just creates problems. It gets them out of sync, it gets them snatchy, it gets them snatching at the ball. Being coordinated, feeling like things work together, as long as that rear elbow's working properly, you're going to get the sequence right. So I'm going to hit a couple of shots here, and I want you to just observe how much the downswing appears to be one motion. You'll see that it won't look like my hips are going earlier than my arms. It will look very fluid and harmonious. Hopefully you can see there, I use my lead heel to drive down into the ground. It just gives me that extra trigger. If you're not a heel lifter, don't worry. Again, just go through all those keys in the beginning, middle part of this video. It's going to help you a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, head over to my website. I urge you to do that on all my videos, because there really is a wealth of information there, and some of the videos are very extended, 30-40 minutes long, and I really get into detail about how to train for golf. I'm a qualified gym instructor as well. I've travelled the world trying to find the answers about golf performance, as well as having the real experience of having been there, seen it, done it myself. So please head over there, there's a lot of great information.